But the woman, the lecturer who was running it, she got pregnant, and the course kind of was dropped because she chose another baby. She chose to focus on her own baby. So suddenly we have a course open. And Justas, Julius, and Aurimas, three friends, we are participating in a common project in Europe called movemakers.eu. It's about adult education. And we thought, where do we integrate all that knowledge? How do we play with it? Where can we bring it? And apparently that course didn't have a mother or a father. So we got a playground. We got a playground, ISM innovation base, and a course called Design Thinking, which we renamed. I have a very old-fashioned PowerPoint. Those who know me, they know it looks like this. So how do we do it? We started thinking, how do we design a course? How do we design a course, and how do we actually start it? Where do we start from? And first of all, you have to make some kind of a description, because, well, the time is pressing, and then you will follow up with more details. So we made a description of the course. What is it for? You can read it, but in general, I will share it online. I will share it on Facebook, so you can see everything, what we study, what's the reading list, what we do. But it's a course for highly motivated students who want to learn from working with hands-on experience, with real businesses, real cases, who want to learn how to collaborate, how to do, and how to reflect. So we got this kind of a vision done, and how do we design a course? How do we design a course? If you want to design something about collaboration, you have to collaborate while designing it. So as I said, we have 3 people. That's the interesting thing about the course. We have 3 guys designing it together. So who are they? So it's me, Aurimas. I'm a Chaos Pilot alumni of a design thinking school in Denmark. And I'm also called my friends call me education tourist. I've been around 10 different educational institutions doing outdoor sports, adventure, music, design thinking, arts, and so on. Then we have Julius. Julius has a bachelor in economics from York University. He has worked as a teacher from Teach First, or in Lithuanian Renkuosi mokytis. He also initiated the project To the Moon, and a co-founder of the Co-Creating Communities. Well, he's my colleague as well. And we have Justas. Who is Justas? And Justas Kučinskas, he has a bachelor in political sciences. He has a master's in philosophy, doing PhD in philosophy, corporate experience in HR, in ISM management, and so we have business, philosophy, and design thinking, 3 of us together. Then what do? We start doing interesting things. So we start, first of all, a meeting, mapping how we will design it, who is where, and this is how our summer looks. We start with lots of post-its. What do we want to put in the course? So we have all those skills: collaboration, feedback, design thinking, prototypes, businesses. And what we know, that we will have 40 students for 3 months, and we have 3 lecturers, and we can do whatever. So we start playing around, moving post-its, coming up with the questions, having good food. That's very important, in the breaks like we had now. So we do that design, and then the students one day, they show up. And that's interesting. So we know that there are things we want to focus with them. It is collaboration, co-creation, design thinking, and system thinking. And of course, if you take philosophy, why? So what's the purpose? What's authenticity? Why do we do at all anything? So I have different pictures. I don't have a presentation. I have different pictures from our lectures, and I will tell you what we did and actually how it worked and what didn't work. I'll just give you the main concept of how we design a course. Has anyone of you heard of the cold learning cycle? Yes, 1, maybe 2. So it is very simple in design thinking or in any experiential learning. First, you give people experience. You, in a way, give them a project to do with no theory at all. Then they will find out some of the things themselves on the way. Most probably they will fail at many things. And then you see, okay, so what insights have we got? What have we learned? What worked? What didn't work? What was missing? Then we give them extra input, theory, videos, and everything. But they will take the theory because they failed, and that hurts. So they know, oh, we failed because we didn't use this tool, because we didn't do planning, we didn't do that. So they're very like absorbing it. And then you upscale the project. So as soon as they think they kind of have the experience and they have the theory and they want to go and do it better, you make the project even bigger. And they will fail again, and they will see why they failed. So in a way, it's planning to fail. Planning to fail, but they do and learn and get theory right on time. As students, students sometimes call it a theory a bit too late. But that's how they absorb it best. So that's design thinking. Not design thinking, that's called learning cycle. And as I said, we want them to learn to prototype, to actually do things. We want them to understand systems. So how do systems work, the interrelations in between you and me, how can we collaborate, how can we give each other feedback, and personal leadership. So who am I in all this thing? So what's my authentic role? What is my dream? What is my vision? So around these things we design a course. So I'll just tell you how the course looked, because I want to share what exactly did we do, what worked and what didn't work, and I'll show you some examples of how it looked. So as you see, the first day they meet, and of course, this doesn't work like anytime. And when the students meet, we open up, and the question is, who are you? So they get to meet each other. Who are you? Who am I? Where do you come from? Which town? Which country? And so on. So if you want them to collaborate, they have to know who's in the room. Because the course is creativity and innovation, the first topics they start exploring is what is creativity and what is innovation. We don't tell them what is creativity and innovation. We ask them to talk in between themselves to make their own definitions and to see what is similar of what is creativity and innovation. When they talk about it and they have arguments and conflicts and everything, and they get confused and clear and confused again, and they get totally lost why the lecturers don't tell us anything, and they make those strange methods, we say, okay, enough of talking, let's experience it. So we go to the modes of creativity. That is lecture number 2. And we invited guest lectures. We invited a dancer who explained what is creativity for dancer. We invited a mathematician and a person who is making Golwosiki, how do you say? Puzzles. A mathematician who's making puzzles. And what is creativity for a mathematician who makes puzzles? And let them experience it from different angles. So how is it in the mind? How is it in the body? How do you express it? How can you feel it? Then on the third lecture we had the, okay, what is creativity? What is innovation? We can experience the purpose of creativity. So why do you want to be creative? Why do you need to innovate? Purpose of creativity. And we invited another guest lecture. We invited Jurgis Didžiulis, because Jurgis talks a lot about social value and economic value and has lots of experience how to combine business and music and to express yourself. So what is the purpose of creativity? And kind of they got the feeling of what is happening, and then we kick them into the world. We say, okay, you have 2 weeks, go and do something useful for society. We divided them into groups of 4 people, and we told them, you have to make an urban intervention which will create social value either for Vilnius or for university campus. 2 weeks, good luck, let's meet in a week. If you need some coaching, you can get some coaching from us. And yeah, we gave them some inspiration. So yeah, that's how we design our days, and we play football, and I'll just show you some examples. We gave them some inspiration, and we said, let's meet in 2 weeks. And one of the groups had to make a final event. So they had to make a gallery where everyone comes and presents of what they've done, to share it with the wider community. And we invited guests, we invited the CEO of university, and we as lecturers, we had no clue of what they've created. Maybe it was a total failure. Maybe they didn't do any project at all. So that was some pictures from the class. We draw a lot, we paint, we dance. We sit in a circle, we use posters, we move around, and you see Jurgis in the picture with us. So what do we do? You see the creative X factor. It is the students themselves. We gave them the keys. We said, like, let's meet Friday morning. It was 9th of October. We will come, the lectures, we will come as guests into the exhibition, whatever you do. So they made a creative X factor. So where they were competing with their creative ideas and running the whole event. And you know what happened? Of course, people were late. The USB sticks didn't work. The lights didn't work. And all of those things are happening. Because when they do real projects, reality happens. They fail, and that doesn't work, and they get into conflict and everything. But we had a good event to remember. We had the posters, we had the videos, we had many great insights, and after that, of course, we went to reflect. So, okay, so what did you plan? What was supposed to happen? What happened? What have we learned? What have you learned about your connection to your colleagues? What would you do differently next time? So there's X factor, and this I'll tell later. So I'll just show you, for example, of what they've done, some concrete examples. So this one was done in ISM, and the idea was to bring more smiles into the university. So they took a very simple idea. The idea is that you go and you have to draw each other's faces, but you cannot look at the picture. So I'm drawing Martin's face, and he's drawing me, but we're not looking at each other. But what happens is that people start smiling, they start communicating, they start mixing up. You might get questions like, why do we do it at all? Why do we do it at all in business university? Well, first of all, to make the atmosphere better, that students would have fun, that they would understand what institution they're studying in. And their goal was that they have a different criteria for a project. And the criteria is, the first one is action impact. I'll just write. So we asked them, did you really dare to go and do something? Not write what could you, what should you, what administration should do, but you as students, did you go out? Did you try 1, 2, 3, 4 things, failed? What have you tried? Do you have the courage? So I believe that many of you would say that all entrepreneurs need the courage to act and do something. The second was relations. So how were your relations in your group, in your team? Did everyone participate? And that guy who was lazy and overslept, did you talk to him? Did you have conflicts? Did you solve them? So what were your relations in the team? And how did you use your relations outside of the team? Did you invite other students? Did you invite university? Did you invite Vilnius, municipality? What did you do, like networking, system thinking? Then sustainability. When you're done with the project, what's going to happen with it? So who's taking it over? Who's doing what? With many projects it happens. You do it and you drop it. But what's going to happen? Sustainability. And subject, of course, subject. So what have you learned about creativity and innovation, about yourself, about creative processes while doing it? And the last one, but not least, adaptability. Because life happened and plan A didn't work, and then you had to do plan B and then plan C, and then you were late, and then the deadline was coming, and such things. But these are the criteria they do the projects and we evaluate them on. But they have to do it, they have to present it in a creative way, we make a big event, we make a big celebration, and then we talk about it and maybe we write reflections. So this was one of the examples. I'll show a little bit of the other one. This one was in the city and the people wanted to work with speed problems. cameras. I'll just turn off the sound that I can tell. So they were working with speeding problems in Vilnius, that cars are driving too fast. But the beauty of this, that they had to create something with their hands. So they decided to make a big speed camera themselves and to experiment with it. And that's what happens when you give them total freedom. But they were having fun, they were fooling, they were enjoying working at night. They were not sitting in the computer and the Google, they were doing stuff, which might even be useful for society. Maybe it's not really legal to do that, but so I showed you a couple ones, and they did 8 projects altogether. Some of them were more successful, some were less successful, but all of them they learned something. They learned about working in a group, about acting, about doing, about being brave and going to society, to university, to community. They learned how to work in community and how to collaborate with their bigger team. So how to make bigger event and learn from each other's experience. And that's quite different from other courses that they were having. These are first year students. So they just got out of school, they got into university, they have maths, microeconomics, intro to management, and on Fridays they do a bit different stuff with us. They dance, they roll around, they go to city, they have fun. Well, at least it looked like some of them did. What happened next? So after we did this project, we said, now we give you 3 weeks to go and reflect on what actually happened. And now you can read some books. But when they read the books, they can look back and see, oh, that's why it worked, that's why it didn't work. That's what I've learned, that's what I should have known, it would have been easier. So they write their reflective reports, but it is honest. I did this, I failed, I learned, I was scared, I doubted myself. It was relearning about about the experience. Not about what person A said about person B's opinion about C's, academic life. What's next? So when we designed the course, there was one picture. So we open up, we have creativity, we have modes of creativity, purpose, adaptability. We have purpose, and then they go do projects. And then they reflect. As you learn from that, they reflect, and we deliberately implemented 2 or 3 projects into one semester, so they could learn, try again, learn, try again. And there were no businesses here, because we didn't want businesses to come in here. We wanted them to fail freely, in the city, in the town, in university. So what happens next? We invite the business companies to come into our course. So while this was happening, we talked to 9 big business companies. And here we have Nestle. That's actually Nestle CEO of the Baltics standing. Oh, hi Justas. So Justas will join us. So we have a business event day. So we have businesses coming and visiting us. And they come and see the course. We didn't want the students to throw them in, but we wanted them to meet and see what the whole course is about. So the companies came in. We have Nestle, we have Palink, which is Iki, we have CV Online, we have Transcom, we have YIT Costa, Lindorf,
Vilnius City Opera.
Vilnius City Opera. What else did I miss? Nestle. Nestle had 2 projects. But anyway, it's real companies coming with real problems, with real challenges which they need help. And many of them, they need help where they need youth to work. They need youth's ideas, youth feedback. So then we designed the whole process that businesses, they gave their pitches, and students also give their pitches, and they choose each other, how they're going to work together. They choose each other for 4 weeks to work, and then they will have 4 weeks to work together with those businesses. And we kind of introduce them the design thinking model, and we step back kind of as directors, as coaches, of how to design the whole process together. So we have 9 more business projects going on, which are happening now. So I don't have the videos yet. Some of them, they feel really stuck and confused. Some of them are developing great projects, but they're getting real life working with businesses. Businesses get real experience working with the Generation Y or Generation Z. And you see, you see some of the clashes happening, but you know, it's always before the deadline. All of them are confused. So they have a deadline next Friday.
Did you mention the contracts?
Oh, contracts. You want to say something about that?
Yeah, we thought that, well, first of all, when we introduced this process to businesses, we said that, yes, we will do some creative things for you. Maybe we'll come up with some good solutions. However, the main objective of all of this is learning. Teaching of students, but also for organization. It's a great way of learning, of working with young people, or involving external stakeholders to help them solve their problem. So at the same time, they're developing for themselves a way to work either with young people or include some external experts for the company's problems. So in a way to make it smoother, almost beginning to create a prototype of this platform of business working with students, we created contracts which students had to sign with the companies. And in those contracts, they had to both agree what the company will learn and what the students want to learn. So really putting an emphasis on learning, on both on the student side and on the company side. At the same time, making it serious enough that it's really the contract. They really have some things to achieve. They really have to show up. And the company also obligates itself to give a full attention to the process.
Yeah, I think we are running out of time, so I'll try to conclude of what is happening.
Well, I just started.
You started, but I'll give you the last word, so for what's next. So what we tried to bring together was businesses, arts, and philosophy. So business brings practical experience, arts brings expression, philosophy brings purpose. So how do you balance those things in your life? And then we give them the tools to learn to do it, and we give them support and coaching and space to do it. And hopefully they will be the new generation of entrepreneurs who hopefully will stay and work in the ISM innovation base. So we're preparing not only the space, which you can copy, paste, and build and make design and this and that, but the people who will be in there, and they can be good employees and entrepreneurs in any other co-working space. What have we, just want to share of what have we learned and what has worked and what hasn't worked, and maybe what's next. A couple steps. So if you do lectures on Friday and you believe that your students will be fresh and ready and you plan 8 hours of a workshop, be careful with that. So we learned to not to start at 8 o'clock in the morning at Friday, start later. Then what really worked is doing 2 or 3 projects, so they have some iteration. They work with one set of people, another set of people. So they try different experiences. What worked was 3 different lectures. So I have my perspective, Justas has his own perspective, I can step back, look into my notes, Justas takes over, then Justas gets started, Julius takes over, one of us gets sick, we can play around ourselves. We used Facebook for communication. We thought all those e-learning and all those things, they get too confusing. Students are in Facebook. So we communicate on Facebook, we write in groups, and in Facebook when you write a note, you see seen by 29 people, and then you can say, hey, you bastards, I know you've seen the message, why didn't you reply? So it's really easy, it's really easy to see. Facebook, and we use Google Docs. Google Docs for collecting the reflections, reading through them, making groups, collaborating on that.
What also has worked, we had 2 cycles, Aurimas has mentioned that. Yeah. Fail fast, learn soon. First practice, out in town. Reflection, which is the individual assignment. And only then we go to the second cycle, which is bigger, more serious and so on. But people already have experience. They have learned through their failures. So I think that has worked.
Yes. what very much work that we had a couple of students from Vilnius Art Academy, Vilnius Dailės Akademija, and what they bring we have two girls that they bring different skills. They bring hands, they bring, I know, materials, scissors, sewing, and all of those things. Maybe next step is to bring engineers from another university. So as diverse as possible, and be careful, I mean, when you design everything so much and so intensively that there are other subjects. There are other subjects and maths exam and this exam. So if you're planning your peaks and ups and downs, this would have been beautiful if there were no other subjects, but there are other subjects. So how do they interrelate and how do they play together? So in the dream scenario, it would be nice to focus just on this, but we only had Fridays, so we had to compete with other subjects on time. For future ideas?
Just an idea, a way to take it forward is make it into a longer course, not a semester course, but maybe a 3-year course, and even making almost a study track where people graduate not with a bachelor thesis, for example, but with their project or the company that they have created. So through this process we would create teams, assist them to become real enterprises, and then also make it into the strategy of ISM InnoBase. So the first floor, that's where they learn and try out things and build teams, and once they've done that, they go to the second floor for really doing that business. And once they get to the second floor, that's when they graduate the university. Okay, so now that you can do your business on your own. But that would be the only way to get into the hub, is through taking this course.
So university starts taking a different role. University becomes a facilitator between students and businesses and social problems, designing the processes how students can start solve business problems with the support of business. Yeah, and then it starts working. So maybe your client becomes Vilnius municipality, your business funder becomes Nestle, and you're going to work with your students, and it's Justas and me designing this semester where you will do real projects, real learning, feedback, and get extra lectures and invitation. So it's moving from teaching to facilitating learning spaces and combining education, public sector, and youth to make our society better. So that's where we're slowly moving, and that's our first 3 months, what we've done so far in ISM. Thank you.
Thank you, Aurimas and Justas. So any quick questions about this?
So, not a question, but like a remark. So you are the best example for 21st century talented, creative teachers.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you are like, what are you guys? What are you doing? I think you are like teachers. You call yourself.
If I may just make one remark, this was our own learning experience. We gathered 3 of us and we said we want to learn something from each other, and we want to go through the process of designing something together. So we built this capacity between 3 of us to build capacity in the classroom. So we constantly go through this learning experience ourselves, coming back after the lectures, thinking what happened, what do we want next. So that keeps us alive. Having 3 of us, it's nice.
And it is a lot about letting go and trusting the students, what they do and what they get, and not stepping too much forward. So it is facilitating learning with as little input as possible.
Just a bit. I have 2 questions. The first is, do you think the reason why you've had relative success in this class is because of the fundamental idea of ISM itself as a university? It's more of an international looking university than most traditional Lithuanian university. I lecture a course in KTU, and I can imagine myself trying to, or wanting to try this, and the results that we get, it probably will not be the same. Is this process replicable? Like, do you see it repeating in VDU, Vilnius University, KTU, for instance?
I believe the most important is, like very often we map out the ingredients, what is needed, the space, this and that, but who are the cooks? Do you know what to do with the ingredients? So it's because of our personal experience